Welcome to Inside Richmond, the official vodcast of Richmond Rugby Club. Today, we're catching up with our Richmond Women's head coach, Mark Cadogan, to chat about what the latest RFU statement, which came out last night. Mark, welcome back to the show. How's things been with you?
Thanks very much, Tom. Good to be here. Obviously, the news that came out last night from the RFU was obviously a little bit disappointing to us. That said, we look upon this time that we've been given as an opportunity for us to become better, to become stronger. Pretty much, I've been really impressed with how the girls have responded over the last few weeks to the skill sessions that we've been doing. I've seen them grow as individual players, and also in terms of them coming together and gelling as a squad as well. We've had quite an influx of new talent from other clubs, such as Harlequins and Wasps, most notably. And it was really encouraging in terms of sort of like the progression and the development that we were sort of achieving. And the thing is that we're still on that path. I think it's unusual circumstances, but at the same time, it gives myself and the other coaches a chance to probably go a bit deeper in certain areas than normally will be afforded, even within a pre-season. So for us, it's very much, the message is quite clear. We're going to use this as a gift to build on the really good foundations that we've done so far, and then look to actually sort of make sure that we are in the best possible shape, physically, mentally, tactically and technically, when we actually sort of do come into the start of basically the next season in the coming months.
Yeah, obviously a disappointing announcement last night. For those that didn't see it, obviously community rugby game will be pushed back till January at the earliest. So that does include the women and the women's championship. Obviously very frustrating for everyone, our players, yourself, all the coaches and so forth. But how proud are you, Mark, of the players, the way they've sort of handled this really unusual situation over the last few months and trained together and kept coming to the club positively?
I'm really proud of the players, not just the players, but the coaches, the support staff as well. I think the club has really shown its true colours and the level of resilience that it has, and its willingness to get on and to play rugby in whatever form or shape that is within the guidelines as set out by the RFU. So for me, it's been a really good initial start over the last few weeks. Moving forward, with this time that we have been afforded, even though it's too early for a pre-season, we will now start to look at some more specific areas in terms of our attack sort of shapes, our defensive structures. We'll be doing probably more unit-specific work with the forwards and the backs. That was already booked in for next week anyway, prior to the announcement itself. So we're looking to really just sort of hone the players and get them really sort of ready, so that when we do go into the pre-season, we're in actually a pretty good shape, which is an unusual sort of place to be, because normally wouldn't be afforded this amount of time.
Absolutely, and we've had great numbers at training. We've seen obviously a lot of current players with us again, and a lot of new players, fresh players. You mentioned that before. Can you sort of touch on how impressed you've been with those players who've come to the club, and also the players who have been with us previously, and how well they're all mixing together and really forming strong bonds?
Well, the squad's gelled really well, better than I anticipated, if I'm honest, because we have had quite an influx of new players, obviously wanting to come and join Richmond as part of this new era. The one thing I would say, I had a few player meetings last night to talk about some of our positional requirements, and one of the players who's come from Harlequins, one of the comments she said is that she's been made to feel extremely welcome by the other players there, They're always looking to sort of involve her in all the stuff that's happening on the pitch. And I thought it was a really good reflection in terms of the existing playing squad that we have, that a player that's come from the outside has made those kind of comments. And I think it's a testament to the sort of the level of engagement and how welcoming we are as a club. Obviously, you know, what will be interesting is as we move forward into the business end, as and when we get to play rugby, when selections are up for grabs, you know, we'll see how good-natured everyone is then. But joking aside, I'm really happy with the way in which the existing players at the club and the coaches and all the staff have been really welcoming to those new players, because it's important that they feel it's somewhere that they can actually enjoy their rugby, but also that they feel that they're welcome.
And yourself, you're new to our club. You've been with us for a few months now. But what really excites you about your role, having been in the position for a bit now? What excites you about Richmond Women going forward?
I think over the last few weeks, it's given a chance for myself and a couple of the other coaches to get to start to understand the players as individuals. It's always hard to come into a completely new set of players and a completely different club in terms of making sure that you find those kind of points, those touch points, those connections. Those things are critical in terms of player engagement, because as we move into the season, you know, that will help us come together to play our best rugby, as it were, you know, when we get to a competitive context. I think that one of the main things that excites me is we've managed to maintain or retain a lot of our talented, experienced Richmond players, but at the same time, we've also got this real challenge for myself and the coaches, is how we blend that youth and, you know, with the existing and established experience at great depth across both of the sides that we're going to put out.
Obviously, one of the big things that you wanted to establish in your role at Richmond is culture preceding performance. Can you sort of touch on how you think the culture is building within the women's section at the moment?
I think we're in good shape. One of the things, again, in terms of getting to understand who I am and what I expect of them, and the same for me of them, is pretty crucial in underpinning that sort of level of culture in terms of the club itself. As far as the women's section is concerned, I feel that we're in a really good place. I've seen lots of examples where players are starting to actually, you know, show that level of focus and commitment within our training sessions. That probably initially, you know, it was early days. They were probably sort of interested to see how I would operate, how I would work, what I actually expect of them. But they responded really well. And I've been really happy about how that's worked as well. And part of that process has been we've also been bringing in some of the society refs that we have within the club to come into our training sessions. So that I think it's important for the girls in terms of being able to how they manage and they respond to match officials is a key element of that, you know, behavioural sort of side of the game that is important for them to actually sort of become better at, and they've taken to that really well. It also gives a chance for us as coaches to not have to be actually in the middle reffing something, but also be able to step out and have a look and see, you know, who's basically applying themselves, how they're developing, you know, are they grasping some of the stuff that we do in the technical and tactical breakouts and bringing that into the dynamics of the game. So culturally, I'm really happy as to where we are. I have regular player meetings now with individuals where, you know, I'll speak to individuals that are either experienced players that have been there for a few seasons, or whether they be new players that are just joining, or whether they're some of the emerging talent, the youngsters. And, you know, consistently people are enjoying their sessions, or so they tell me anyway. And, you know, especially from the new players that are coming to join, you know, the fact that they feel so welcome and that there's somewhere that they feel they want to come and stay. I think that's pretty important indicator in terms of the kind of environment and culture that we're trying to create.
Definitely. And obviously, as mentioned, we're still in stage D of the RFU's guidelines, which means we can play the Ready for Rugby tournament. Ready for Rugby sort of style of the game, which is non-contact. We've got another opportunity tomorrow at the club. We'll be playing in the Ready for Rugby sort of festival with the men. Do you see this as another great opportunity for the girls to get together and sort of showcase their skills and work on those fundamentals that they've been training?
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, any time that the players can get ball in hand on a pitch, they're always excited about that. It's a good opportunity in terms of almost like a developmental milestone from our perspective as coaches, to have a look and see who's taken on board those sort of core skills and some tactical work that we've been doing over the past few weeks, and see which players can actually then transfer that into the context of gameplay, albeit that it's limited as a conditioned tag or touch game rather. It's still a good indicator in terms of players that are starting to see how they evolve their game sense, and as I said, they sort of adopt some of those sort of attack shapes and structures that we've been actually looking at, even at a top line level. So yeah, it's really good. I mean, one of the exciting things is that we are inviting Battersea Ironside's women's section down tomorrow as well. So that's really, really good. So I'm looking forward to welcoming Andy and his players tomorrow. I think it will give that additional sort of competitive edge to it as well. And it gives our players a chance to obviously face other players that they don't normally see, that they wouldn't normally see, and that always gives that sort of additional edge that you probably sometimes can't always get within just a training context. So really excited about that, but also it's a great opportunity to help celebrate the achievements of the men's promotion as well, which is an outstanding effort.
Definitely. I guess just finally, obviously, last night's news was frustrating, and you've touched on our plans going forward, that we will keep pushing on and we will keep training as a section to hopefully get back to some sort of rugby in January onwards. But for any new players who are thinking about potentially joining our club or want to play rugby of any ability, what would be your message to them?
Message plain and simple would be, we're very happy for you to come down and try out, come down and have a look at the club, have a chance to interact with the players that are here, speak to those that are old and speak to those that are new, and have a chance to experience what it's like to train and hopefully play for a championship side. So if you're an ambitious player, if you're a player that's already played at this level, and is looking for a new club, if you've moved to the area, we're more than welcome for you to come down and train. We are as defined by those players that are new, that have actually been coming for the last few weeks and have decided to actually stay with Richmond. We are, I feel, a welcoming team that have players that are operating at a high level. It will be competitive in terms of when we start looking at positional and unit-based sort of skills, which we will start next week. But I think it's a great place for you to develop as a player. I'm fortunate to have a really good coaching staff alongside me as well. So, look, we would love to see you down at the athletic ground, and look forward to hopefully meeting some of you soon.
Fantastic. Mark, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. Obviously, we're looking forward to tomorrow at the club. It'll be a great Ready for Rugby tournament. And also, hopefully, fingers crossed, rugby can get back underway in the new year for our women. But in the meantime, Mark, thank you for your time. Keep doing all the things you're doing, because you've made a fantastic impact. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at the club. Great stuff, Tom. Look forward to seeing you there, and all the fans coming down as well. We'll make it a great day, and stay safe, and hopefully see you all soon. Take care. Fantastic. Thank you, Mark, and see you later, everyone.